morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Brandon with Geaux Stros. Hope you guys are all doing excellent, just like a chicken. Excellent. Let's see here. I was just finishing up getting some coffee made. And let's see here. 1 second. I need to open my live stream page. It is going excellent. Just want to make sure it's looking good. Sergio says, what's that song? I just tuned in. Hey, Sergio. Good to see you here. I managed to make it. I slept for about 4 hours or so and got up for this game. And after that, I guess I would just go back to bed. That song is one that I made, actually. I wrote that song and I used an AI tool in order to make it. Recently, my hobby has become making music with the AI tools and some music videos even. Some songs are more, they lend themselves more to videos than others. I can tell them kind of like stories. That particular song I wrote is kind of a mantra. It's called I Am. And it is just meant to be, it's not a complicated song as far as lyrics. It's literally just I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that, and then it has some you are this, you are that, you are this, you are that, and we are this, we are that, we are this, we are that. Everything in the song is like that. Sergio says, please email that song to me. I will be posting it shortly. I'm actually making another YouTube channel, and it's specifically for the songs that I'm making. But as soon as it's complete, it's completely done, the mixing and everything is completely done, I will definitely send you a copy. I'd be happy to do that. But thank you. I'm glad that you like it. I really like it too. I just finished the main version a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. And I have 2 different versions of the song. One is more like a dance version style. But that one is my favorite. That one is very inspiring, very powerful. They are still on commercial break, but they'll be back any moment. I think everything on the screen is correct. Picture is correct. Park is correct. I do need to make one move there, I think. This needs to be moved up just a little. Right there. Okay, now I think everything is good to go. 5 likes already. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. I think my coffee is ready to go. It is. My coffee is actually ready to go before the game is ready to go. Can't believe it. Guess what, guys? Jeremy Pena is the DH today. He's batting first as the DH. Can you believe it? So Pena is getting the day off in shortstop. Oh, I forgot to put I got a little bit of creamer I want to put in the coffee. I want to go ahead and do that right quick. Tanner Bybee. I thought it was like BB. Tanner Bybee. Hey, Bybee. He's warming up on the mound. He'll be ready in just a moment. And we'll get our first pitch of the game. He's still warming up. So we haven't quite started yet. For those of you who are wondering, when is the first pitch? Should be any moment. But right now, Bybee is still warming up. On the mound, Pena is on deck, ready to go. They said it did rain a little bit earlier in Cleveland, but they're not quite sure if it's going to be affecting any of the rest of the game. Today you can see I've got my LSU shirt on, and it's such a soft, comfortable shirt. It's so soft. I like it. I found it at a vintage shop in Kagoshima, Japan. Very lucky find. All right. Pena comes to the plate. Getting ready for that first pitch of the game. Astros are leading this series, and they've already won it. Let's see if we can get a sweep today. Are we going to have a first inning of scored runs? That's the question everybody has. The first pitch from Bybee is on the way. Let's get this party going. Swing and a miss to 84-mile-an-hour Swiffer. Right off the bat. Pena batting .321 right now for the whole season. His average has just gone nuts recently, right? Sergio says, let's go Astros. Absolutely. Let's go Stros. Next pitch is way outside. Same type of pitch. Not a good placement. The count is 1-1. John says, good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. John, thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Ohayou gozaimasu to you. Good morning. It's the middle of the night here, basically. It's 2:43. Another swing there with Pena drawing strike two. It's 1-2. Mark says, hello, chatters, ready for this one? I certainly hope so. I feel okay, Mark. I think I feel all right. I slept for just under 4 hours. Here's a pitch. Another one way outside. The Swiffer placement for Bybee is all over the place so far. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Pena. Very quiet crowd. Looks like an empty stadium there today for this afternoon game. Here's the pitch. Aw, another Swiffer, but Pena can't handle it. And that one was right in there. Doesn't get much better than that. Perfect one to be hitting. Could have launched it. He was right to be swinging. He was wrong to be missing. Isak the ball. Isak the ball. Paredes comes to the plate. Here comes the pitch. You guys will probably... Oh, that was a strike, by the way. I'm sorry. You guys probably know that the game yesterday, when the Astros were down by 1, there was a wild pitch that scored the go-ahead run. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Strike 2. But Isak Paredes had a single on the opposite field that scored the extra insurance run. That hit and that run were very important. If there had been a wild pitch, he would have scored 2 runs, and that would have given the Astros the lead anyway. Called strike 3 on that outside edge. Paredes is bickering a little bit with the umpire, but we all know how that goes. It never works. Spada comes out. Yeah, that one never made it back in. That was actually outside the zone. Look at that. Can't see it from that angle. But when they showed the hitter's box, the strike zone, that ball is 2 inches at least. The edge of that ball is at least 2 inches. Was at least 2 inches out of the zone. But Walker is at the plate. It looks like Altuve's going to get the day off today. He's getting a break. That pitch is at the top of the zone, but called a ball. It looks like it's going to be one of those days where we don't really know where the strike zone is. I want to know the count to Walker with 2 outs. He hits this one straight up into the air out to right field and picked by a AAA minor guy that was called up for out number 3. Brandon Walter. Coming out to the mound, getting ready for his stint on the mound for the Stros today. Wishing him a good game, hoping everything goes well for him. Bottom of the first, coming up, no hits, no runs as usual for the Astros. Let's see here. Fred says, good afternoon from South Texas. Hey, Fred, good afternoon from Northeast Hiroshima. Charles says, hello to you in Japan. Good job on hosting the games. Go Stros, win again. Keep losing Mariners. I agree with you 100%. And I see that Texas flag there. Go Stros indeed. And thank you very much, Charles. Astros Houston says, let's go Astros Konnichiwa combine and say. I don't know why you always say sayonara. Hey, but you spelled it right. That's right. Sayonara. That's right. Sayonara. But sayonara means goodbye. So I'm not really sure why you put that in there. But you did spell it right, so good job. Mark says, I love San Antonio. Cool place. Looking forward to visiting San Antonio one day. It's one of those cities I really want to go to. There are so many cities that I want to visit on Earth. I've been to 15 countries, and it feels like nothing. No telling how many cities I've been to. Hundreds, at least hundreds. Brandon Walter is finished warming up. If the Astros can quickly get a few runs, and then that's how the game ends, I'm fine with that. Kwan is at the plate, takes that first pitch for strike one. Strike Kwan against Stephen Kwan. I'll never get over that one. Here's the next pitch. Too far inside, 80-mile-per-hour Swiffer. 1-1. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to reach out to Shipley Donuts very soon to see if they're interested in sponsoring me. Opposite field hit. Kwan continues his reign of terror. Man, they're not joking about Stephen Kwan. 18 people following along right now. That's awesome. That's great. A lot of people early. Try to like the live stream if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it. We got a newbie out there. That brings up Angel Martinez. He shows bunt and fouls it off. We got one of our newer guys out there on second base. That's Shea Whitcomb. Oh, 0-1 to Martinez. Here's the toss from Walter. Fouled back. He decides to start going into swing mode. 0-2. Kwan on first. They started playing Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls in the background of the stadium there. The crowd is dead. There's like nobody there. It's funny. Walter steps off the rubber. I heard a crowd guy out there. Boo! Always love that, hearing that one guy. Boo! There's the pitch. Kwan steals. Here's the throw. The throw is off. 9 stolen bases for Quan. Might as well give it a try against the Astros. You never know. High percentage chance of being safe. One ball, 2 strikes to Martinez. Here comes a 1-2. Grounded to the third base side. Paredes is able to hold the runner on second and make the play to first, so that'll be 1 away. Nice solid play by Isak. Brendan says, yeah, finally, or yay, finally. Mark says, LL Shibley is the best ever. I agree. Unfortunately, they don't have like an email that I could find. They only have the phone number, so I'm going to have to try to find a way to call them from Japan. Jose Ramirez is at the plate. He takes that first pitch in the middle of the zone, a cutter for strike 1. He's batting .333 this season. He had an opportunity to do something in the 9th inning yesterday, and he fouled out. Here comes the pitch. Out into right field, lined right at Cam Smith. He comes in a little too far at first. He puts on the brakes and grabs it. Rambunctious youngster, calm thyself. But he grabs it, so it's all good. You see where Cam started running in and then just backed up. Stop, back up a little. 2 outs. David Fry at the plate. Low and inside. 82 mile per hour changeup. Ball 1. Walter gets the out right here. It won't be too much of an inning. It'll be a kind of a quiet inning. Let's get it. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Oh, he's hit right at Isak Paredes, who scoops it up and fires it over to first. Nice play by Paredes. Brandon Walter gets through the first inning. Gives up a hit and a stolen base, but no problem. Gets out of it. That's not a bad start for Mr. Brandon Walter. We go to the top rather of the second. The bottom of this. Let's just skip the top of the second. Let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup. I didn't really detail it for you guys, but there are a few changes in the Astros lineup today. Altuve is taking a break. He's out of the game. I would imagine he's available if needed, but I can't imagine why they'd bring him in. Pena is the leadoff batter today, but he's in the DH spot. He's getting a break from shortstop. I think this is the first time he's been in the DH spot. Paredes batting second. Walker batting third. Yainer Diaz is due up in just a moment to lead off the second. He is catching today. Jake Myers is batting fifth. Jake the Rake. Cam Smith batting sixth. Jacob Melton batting seventh. For what reason, I'm not really sure. Mauricio Dubon batting eighth. And Shea Whitcomb batting ninth. If it were me, I would put Melton ninth. I would put Dubon seventh. Whitcomb eighth. That would be my change. Diaz did have himself a nice 2-run shot yesterday. Wearing the Astros orange. Today they're wearing gray. Overcast gray is the color today. First pitch to Diaz is on the way from Bybee. There's the cutter in the top of the zone. Swing and a miss for strike one. Jordan says, I'm eating breakfast. Salmon, kale, and eggs. I can't have salmon for breakfast, but kale and eggs sounds good. This one's put in play to third base. Ramirez goes over to first. Barely gets him. Nice comfortable throw. One away. They're talking about the trade that was made for Yiner from the Guardians 4 years ago. Here's a first pitch to Jake Myers. He's got himself a, can't get it out, but himself a bloop hit. Broken bat to right field in the very first pitch. He rakes it. Jake rakes it into right field. Look at that. A broken bat just enough to get over the head of that first baseman. First pitch hits for Jake, batting .417. That's crazy. Cam Smith comes to the plate with one out and Jake on first. Here's the pitch. Right in there, top of the zone. The Swiffer. 0-1. Cam Smith batting .245. In a little bit of a slump right now. One for his last 17. Here comes the next toss. Foul back. 95 miles an hour on that pitch. 0-2. Brendan says, been waiting for Shea Whitcomb. Yeah, I hope he does something today. It'd be nice to see something. I'm not impressed with his fielding so far. But batting, if he can do something, I'll be happy to see that. Long delay by Bybee. Steal it by Myers. He's in there. Heck yes. Jake Myers. Nice. Ball one. 9 stolen bases for Jake the Snake. Look at him just slithering in and sliding into second base there. Nice jump. All right. One out with a runner in scoring position. Come on, Smith. 1-2 is the count. Crank it up, Cam. Swing and a miss. Another Swiffer. I think the Astros should be looking for that pitch. That one was on the outside. A swing and a miss for strike 2 and out, or strike 3 and out 2, rather. Astros, Houston says, Irashaimase. Irashaimase. Very Japanese expression there. Here's the next pitch. Jacob Melton takes that pitch off the plate for ball one. All right. Mark says, tell him you want Ella location to ship to you. Donuts from that location taste better. Nobody knows why. I would love to have them shipped to me. I don't need the sugar, but it'd be great to see them come in. I'd be quite happy to see some of those cake donuts with chocolate and walnuts. 1 ball, 1 strike to Jacob Melton as that one drops in the zone. Anato mitsukemashita? Honto? Here's the next pitch to Melton. That's right in the upper outer corner for strike 2. 1-2. Melton not swinging the bat yet. Jordan says, I don't eat donuts, but if I did, Krispy Kreme donuts are better. Do any of you guys know Southern Made donuts? In Louisiana, I would say, where I'm from, I say where I'm from, where I was born, Southern Made is the best. They're much better than Krispy Kreme. Right on the top of the zone, easy call for the umpire. Melton decides that he's just not going to swing the bat at all. Unsurprisingly, another strikeout for Melton. Melton is just, he's like a strikeout machine. I can't decide who strikes out more right now. Jacob Melton or Christian Walker? I wonder who's leading in the strike-off. It's strike-off. Who's winning the strike-off? You could put that in the chat as a funny poll. Let's see here. Start a poll. Who is winning the strike off? Christian Walker, Jacob Melton. Just as a fun joke, what do you guys think? Who's winning the strike off? Christian Walker or Jacob Melton? In other words, who's striking off? Who's striking out more? Krispy Kreme donuts is okay, but they are too big business for me. Krispy Kreme is too big business. I don't like big business. That's why I like Shipley Donuts and Southern Made Donuts. They are much smaller companies with just a more homemade style, I guess you could say. Got about 15 people or so following the channel right now. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Bottom of the second coming up right now. Brandon Walter back on the mound for the Astros. 1 hit for each team, but no runs. Both teams managed to get a runner on second base, but stranded him there. First pitch from Walter is hit directly to Dubon, who's playing shortstop for Pena today, and thrown to first for out number 1. 1 away. 1 pitch, 1 out. Look at that. AL leaders for quality starts. Tied for first place, Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez. How about that? Next batter is Carlos Santana. He takes that first pitch right down the gut. 89-mile-per-hour cutter. Strike 1. Here's the next toss. Swing and a miss. Nice Swiffer. So Walter says, Bybee isn't the only one who can throw the Swiffer. 0-2. Don't often see Hunter Brown wearing sunglasses. That one is outside. Fastball missing by several inches. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Arias. Santana was the one who grounded out. It just wasn't updated on the screen. Here's the next pitch. Low and in the dirt. Inside. Diaz is going to take a quick jog out to the mound and have a chit-chat with Walter. That's a nice list to be on. Lowest ERA, first 13 games of the season for the Astros. Another one low and inside, full count. So starts off the count 0-2, comes back, and now he's behind 3-2. Here's the next pitch. That one's in there, but lined up the middle for a hit. It's going to get into the gap. Long run for Myers. Arias is going to be into second with a double. Just a bad alignment because of that opposite field hit. He was able to get to second base. So 1 out, base runner on second again that Walter will have to work around. There was just a big, huge hole out there. Melton and Myers kind of divided. By the time Myers got to it, Arias was able to get to second. That brings up Jonathan Rodriguez. First pitch on the way. Way outside and high. Ball 1. Walter comes set. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. That was a nice pitch. Swing and a miss on the changeup just below the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on second. 20 pitches now for Walter. The 1-1 on the way. Grounded to third. Paredes takes an easy throw to first place, holds the runner on second, 2 away. Very similar to what happened in the first inning. They had a runner on second, grounder to Paredes. Paredes held the runner, threw it to first. It's like deja vu. Two outs. Runner on 2. Bo Naylor at the plate. Here's a pitch. Nope. Walter comes off the mound. The crowd boos. Boo. Through 48 games, Naylor is batting 171. Man, that's worse than Jose Abreu, right? Here comes the pitch. Right in there, 92-mile-per-hour sinker. 0-1 is the count. That didn't sting too much for me to mention Jose Abreu, did it? 2 outs, runner on second, 0-1 pitch. Too far inside, ball 1, the count is even. John says, my best friend used to own a Hertz donut before the pandemic. They were the best. Hertz donut, never heard of it. This ball's hit really hard out to right field. It's going to be gone. Speaking of a guy with a bad batting average, batting 171, and he hits a 2-run homer in the second inning. It would be the guy, the eighth guy in the lineup, batting 171 for the season. And he hits the elevated 81-mile-an-hour Swiffer. That was like a batting practice pitch. Almost no movement on that pitch. Easy one to hit out. Batting practice. Home run derby. Walter now has 2 earned runs. First pitch to Will Wilson is fouled off for strike 1. Well, now the Astros are down 2-0. So much for Walter's good outing, giving up 2 runs in the second. Here's the next pitch to Wilson. That's a strike. 0-2. 8 home runs for Naylor for the entire year. Not a big home run guy, but against Walter, anything is possible, I guess. That pitch is outside, 1-2. Don't lose him, man. Get ahead in the count. Don't lose the batter. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Well, it gets him on that pitch there. Strike 3. That ends the inning, but Walter gives up a 2-run homer. Astros are down 2-0 going into the top of the third. Astros Houston says, which player do you like from the Hiroshima team? That's a difficult question to answer. But there's one player named Kobayashi. I think he's that's the name of their main pitcher. I think that's who it is. You guys might not know this or not, but the pitchers in Japan, they also bat. So they don't have a designated hitter that comes in and bats for the pitcher. Let's see here. I might be saying his name wrong. What was it? Nakamura? They've got several really nice pitchers. I wonder if they play today. They probably. Ooh, man! The game yesterday, they won big time, 10-0. They had 16 hits yesterday and 10 runs. That's crazy. They've won 3 games in a row. That's good. It's been a tough league this year. They're at the top. They're close to the top. But the teams aren't too far off from them. Dubon is at the plate. Takes that first pitch for ball 1. Here's the next pitch. Fouled off. That was a 4-seam fastball right in the zone. 1-1 is the count. One ball, one strike. Here's the pitch. This one goes into right field. That's going to be an easy out for out number 1. Rodriguez was playing kind of over and shallow. Perfectly placed for Dubon. That brings up Shea Whitcomb, his first bat for the Astros in a while. Let's see if he can do better than striking out compared to Melton. Anything's better than that. Here comes the pitch. Hey, fouled off the first pitch. That's already better. Already better than Melton. This is his first start this year. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Little high. Good take for ball 1. 1-1. Jordan says they delivered to Japan. Really? Pretty amazing. I wouldn't mind having a big box of glazed donuts coming from Southern Made. Another one way high for ball 2. 2-1 to Whitcomb. Kobayashi pitch and then eat 100 hot dogs. Here comes the 2-1 pitch right in there. Fouled off the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Whitcomb getting the bat on the ball so far. He hasn't missed it yet. Jordan says, I worked at Shipley when I was a kid. That's probably why I don't eat donuts. I understand. Fouled off again, this time down the third baseline. Count remains 2-2. The 30th pitch of the game coming up for Bybee. Here it is now. Uh-oh. Hit hard, pretty hard, but too hard. To left field, a little line drive. Kwan makes the play. Whitcomb goes down. But Whitcomb swung the bat at the ball 4 or 5 times, and he never missed it. So he's not a strikeout machine right now. But out number 2, Pena, today's DH, comes to the plate. First pitch to him is on the way. Right in there for strike 1. That's interesting. Right now, Pena is the only guy in all of MLB to have a hitting streak that's double digits. That one is in the dirt. Evens the count 1-1. Yeah, there's the list they were talking about. Jeremy's got 13. Second place guy has 9. Here comes the next pitch. A little low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Pena. With 2 away. Two and 1 pitch coming from Bybee. On the way. Fouled back. 86-mile-an-hour pitch. The cutter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pena did strike out his last at bat. He went swinging on the Swiffer. Jordan says Shipley's is just as big as Krispy Kreme. Are you sure about that? I don't. I don't. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm gonna have to look that up. Here comes the next pitch. Outside, ball 3. Crowd booed a little bit, but that was out of the zone. It was a little close, within a couple of inches, but it was clearly out of there. So, good call by the ump. Full count, but 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the pitch to Pena, the Bybee special. And that's going to be a grounder to short, fired over to first, and he's got Pena for out number 3. No problem for Bybee. The Astros go through the second inning like they did. I'm sorry, the top of the third, like they did the first couple of innings, basically. A little anemic, if you will. We go to the bottom of the third. There's no way. I will say this, Jordan. Well, think about this, Jordan. Krispy Kreme is international. I've never seen a Shipley's Donuts outside of the U.S. Never. Let's see. It's in the break now, so let's take a look. Internationally. Yeah, here's the thing. This is what I was talking about. Shipley's Donuts is primarily southern USA. I've lived in different places in America. For a short time I lived in North Carolina, but there are only a few in Louisiana. Nowhere, and there were none in North Louisiana, anywhere around me where I was at. And they're in 12 states only, just 12 states. But Krispy Kreme Donuts is international. They've even got Krispy Kreme Donuts here in Japan. That's what I meant. I meant that Krispy Kreme is the big business type company. They're all over the world. Shipley Donuts is not. They're primarily southern U.S. company. So they might have a lot of locations down there, but they're not an international brand. They're not even really a national brand. They're mostly just confined to that one southern area. Very concentrated there. First pitch is outside to Stephen Kwan. 1-0 is the count. Here's the next pitch. Kwan bounces this one to second base. A welcome out, a gift for the Astros. 1 away. First pitch to Angel Martinez is a strike. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt, ball 1-1. I just looked up Krispy Kreme. They have locations in over 36 countries. So they are quite well known internationally. A lot of foreigners know Krispy Kreme donuts. But nobody outside of America knows Shipley's. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. On the outside edge, good pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Martinez. Krispy Kreme is not nationwide. They are international, my friend. They are more than nationwide. They are everywhere in the world, practically. Next pitch. Taken for ball 3. Full count. I've lived in China. I've lived in Japan. I spent 1 month in Thailand. Fouled off. The count remains 3-2. I've been to 15 countries, and I can tell you Krispy Kreme is international, very international and known in the world. Shipley's is not. Big difference. That's why, to me, they're a big company. This one's ripped foul down the third baseline. Kind of reminds me of the difference between KFC and Popeye's Chicken. Now, there are some locations internationally for Popeye's Chicken, but it is nowhere near on the level of KFC. KFC is bonkers. Line drive shot. Man, that was a rip all the way down close to the home run mark. About 12 feet foul. Oh, Altuve over there, hanging out in the dugout. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Right in there, strike three. Angel Martinez just stands there and takes it. Out number 2. Walter up to 39 pitches, his second strikeout of the game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, by the way, there are 357, you said, the Krispy Kreme locations, but that's just in America. That doesn't include all the ones they have overseas. They have a lot more than Shipley's. I forgot to mention that. Ramirez fouls off that first pitch for strike 1. Oh, and 2 is the count. I missed one of those pitches, and he hits this one up to center field. That's going to be down for a hit. 34 consecutive games that Ramirez has been on base. He's managed to get on base in 34 straight games. That's crazy. David Fry comes back to the plate with runner on and 2 outs. High and in the outer corner, but called a strike. He clips that corner. 4 hits now for the Guardians. Here comes the pitch. Nope, Walter goes to first instead. 0-1. Charles says the Astros bats will come alive around the 6th or 7th. Man, I sure hope not. I hope they come alive before that. I don't want to wait till the 6th or 7th. Swing and a miss. Fry can't get the cutter. 0-2. What happened to the torpedo bats? Big hype. Blown out of proportion. Ramirez is going to second. Here's the throw. Way off. 18 stolen bases. Now. Pretty easy. He was way in there. The throw was way off. 2 bad throws from Diaz today. First throw didn't matter. The timing wouldn't have been there. But that one was way off. Not even a chance to get tagged out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Right in the bottom of the zone. Called a ball. Should have been strike 3. 2 balls and 2 strikes. See that? Right in the bottom of the zone there. Here comes the 2-2 pitch rather. Let Tapper up the middle. Whitcomb charges, throws it to first, out number 3, and that'll be it in the bottom of the 3rd. So Walter comes back with a 1-2-4 inning. No more damage given up that inning, so we're all good there. We go to the top of the 4th. Astros down 2-0. to the Guard Indians. Sergio says Shipley's his head and shoulders above the rest. If you don't like them, you must be because you haven't tried them, or you worked there for too long when you were a kid. George says we're going to need the good timing and luck this game. I think they just need to do what they have the talent to do. It's not like the Astros don't have the talent to hit the ball. They just need to execute. Go meditate or something. Get focused. Jordan says, I was kidding about the made donut shipping to Japan, but with the right price, I bet they would. I can always find somebody to do it. I could always do that, but it's not that important. It would be so expensive to get overnight shipping. Getting donuts packed, donuts is pretty easy because, you know, you don't have to worry about them changing so much. You package them really nicely, and you can ship them overnight. It's not a big deal. They'll pretty much be pretty fresh if sealed. You know, if they're wrapped nicely and shipped, they'll be really nice. You buy them fresh. If you say, listen, I'm shipping these to a friend, I need a fresh dozen donuts right now. And as soon as you get them, you put them right in the box and you seal them up, ship them overnight. They'll be nice and fresh and yummy the very next day. No problem. So shipping donuts is no problem. If you're talking about shipping some other types of foods, it might be a little difficult. First pitch to Paredes is in there for strike one. Some foods just don't last very well overnight like that, right? But it would be really, really expensive on that shipping. It would be really expensive. Here's the next pitch. Hey, just foul. Line drive down the third baseline. Could have been an extra base hit. But the result is actually strike two. Oh, 2 is the count. Here comes a pitch from Bybee. 80-mile-an-hour curveball fouled off. Count remains 0-2. Do you guys know Raising Cane's? Raising Cane's chicken? I do miss Raising Cane's very much. Popeyes is pretty good, but I love me some Raising Cane's. It is awesome. Here comes the 0-2. Fouled back again. Count remains 0-2. No outs. Paredes, the leadoff batter here in the top of the fourth for the Astros. Astros still with only one hit in this game from Jake Myers. DoorDash to Japan. Yeah, that's like Country Dash. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. That's hit to left field. Should be playable. Martinez is over from center field to grab it. They were playing him way over. That ball was hit mostly into left field, and the center fielder came over to get it. One away with the fly ball. Is it just me, or is the Astros Pride Night being advertised in a very subtle way? Because they're not calling it Astros Pride Night. They're just saying Pride Night, Pride Night, Pride Night. And they've got all the different colors. You can't fool me. Christian Walker rips it to the third base side. It's thrown over for out number 2. At least he didn't strike out. Okay, so Walker has 2 at-bats today with no strikeout, and Melton has 1 strikeout. So far, Walker is behind in the strikeoff. Melton is winning the strikeoff right now against Walker. Low and inside on Diaz. Could have been called either way, but umpire calls it a ball. 1 ground out today for Diaz. Here comes the next pitch from Bybee. Diaz grounds this one. Looks like it's going to be another ground ball. Another ground ball out for Diaz. The Astros go 3 up and 3 down. Nothing doing in the top of the fourth. Astros don't seem to care about this game today. That's what it looks like to me. Bottom of the fourth coming up in just a few moments. We are on break right now, as you can see by the ridiculous hat game on the MLB network. Let's take a look at the live stream. 21 people watching, 14 likes. If you haven't liked the live stream, please do so now. I need 6 more to get to 20. That would be nice. Thank you very much. Jordan says, well, now I like Shipley's better too. Here in Japan, the most popular donut place is called Mr. Donut. Do you guys know Mr. Donut? One thing that Japan has that I really like are the cake donuts. They have some nice cake donuts. They've got these types of cake donuts that are very popular here. They're like the old-fashioned style cake donut. And you can get them plain. You can get them covered with chocolate on top. Some of them you can get them half chocolate for some reason, half chocolate and half not. And if you go to the convenience store, in Japanese is kombini. If you go to the kombini, sometimes you can find a matcha. Do any of you guys like matcha? Do you know what matcha is? Matcha is made with green tea. But Japan has a lot of matcha flavored desserts and sweets and treats. The matcha donut is very delicious. It is quite delicious. 2-0 Guardians. That's a pretty interesting statistic. The Astros have the highest win percentage in the league, in the American League, since June 8th of last year. From then until now. Can you believe that? First pitch from Walter is on the way. A strike on the lower outside edge. Nice pitch to Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana. 0-1 pitch on the way. Below the zone that time. The changeup missing. The count is now even, 1-1. I need to add some more water in that coffee. Next pitch is also below the zone, but just barely. The Swiffer missing. Good take by Santana. 2 balls and 1 strike. 50 pitches now for Walter. Here's the toss. Wow. Rifled right at the dugout. At the Astros dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. All right. 2-2 pitch. Ah, the short hop gets right past Whitcomb. Or is that Dubon? Yeah, Dubon's at short. Dubon can't handle the short hop. We're already feeling the pain of Pena not being in the game. I feel that Pena would have handled that. There was a high percentage chance that Pena would have handled that. They're going to give him an error? They better give him an error. Yeah, that was a terrible play by Dubon. He was scared of the ball. Can't be scared of the ball. You got to go after it. Arias is at the plate. Arias. I keep wanting to say Arias. I noticed that the Astros commentators and the Astros radio network pronounce his name differently, but I'm going to say Arias. He's got a double today. Oh, and 1 is the count to Arias. Runner on first. No outs. Here's the pitch. About a foot outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Arias. Tacos Arias. Tacos Arias. All right, here's the toss. Ooh, way outside. That was about 2 feet outside. What you doing there, Mr. Walter? 2 balls, 1 strike. Sergio says, have any of you had Papacitos or Papado? They're my go-to for a good meal. I've heard of them, but I haven't been there. This one's hit high in the air on the right side, but out of play for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Walter gets the call, comes set. Here's the pitch. That's hit into right field. Cam Smith is over and barely makes the basket catch, goes into the wall. He's able to get the ball back. The runner goes back to first base. Good catch there by Cam. Had to go full speed to make that basket catch. Good hustle by Cam Smith, making that snag and then being careful not to run straight into the wall. First pitch coming to Jonathan Rodriguez is in the bottom of the zone. Nice toss. 90-mile-an-hour cutter. Strike 1. It's taking forever for the second cup of coffee to pour. Or drip, rather. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. Low and inside. Nice pitch. They're showing that catch again by Cam Smith. 0-2 is the count. 60th pitch of the game coming up for Walter against Jonathan Rodriguez. 1 out, runner on first. Couple of feet outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Walter comes set on the mound. Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice. The Swiffer. Low and inside. It's nice to see the Guardians, the Gardindians, going down on the Swiffer instead of the Stros. Fooled ya. That brings up Bo Naylor. Naylor had a 2-run homer. Speaking of Naylor, he's got a guy on base now. Let's hope he doesn't have a repeat. That's right in the middle of the plate for strike 1. 92 miles an hour. Dangerous pitch to throw. A sinker right in the middle of the plate. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. That's hit hard again, so Naylor continues to hit easily. Runner is held at second. Naylor is 2 for 2 against Walter. Homer and a single for him today. Right in the lower part of the plate there. Middle, lower part of the plate. Nice smooth swing. Batting practice for Naylor today. 2 outs, 2 runners on, and that brings up Will Wilson. Struck out his last at bat. That one's too far inside. Ball 1. Here's the next pitch. Fouls it off. Strike 1. 1-1. Yeah, Fred, I'm aware of the Spanish pronunciation, but sometimes the names don't follow exactly the same way because, names can be pronounced differently according to the person. So I don't know him, so I don't know how he pronounces his name. I just know that the commentators change his name pronunciation. I've heard his name pronounced like 3 different ways, but I think it's Arias, something like that. I know it's not Arias. That's a very Americanized version. Ball 3 there by Walter, 3-1 with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Come on, man. Hey, there we go. Fouled off the mask of the umpire. Full count. Very important pitch right here from Walter coming up. You can see that one here go off the off the mask of the umpire. Full count with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Very important pitch for Brandon Walter. Come on, man. You can do it. Get that strikeout. Here's the pitch. Fouled off again. I think that one also went off the mask. Maybe off of Diaz's mask. $18 people in the live stream. 20. Thank you for being here. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Another full count 2-out pitch is on the way. He hits that one high in the air. Is it playable? No, it's going to go out of play. That would have been a really nice big out right there. I think for the next game, I will be sporting my Craig Biggio Astros shirt. I didn't have it on today because I wanted a long sleeve. It was a little chilly. It gets pretty chilly out here at night. Even during the summer, it gets a little chilly here. The elevation is something else. Here's the pitch. There we go. Strike 3. Brandon Walter does it, guys. How do you like that? Changeup, 82 miles an hour, just froze him right down the middle in the bottom of the zone. All right, Brandon Walter. I'm not going to be upset with him if he only gives up 2 runs. If he gets through 5 innings, guys, with just that 2-run home run, I'm going to be quite pleased with that performance. The top of the 5th coming up in just a moment. You know, right now the pitch count, let's take a look at Walter's pitch count. It's at 71. I'm not sure what his pitch count is, but my guess is that he's got enough in him to go at least 1 more inning, maybe 2, depending. Of course, it depends on how he performs, but let's say that he's able to get through the next couple of innings without giving up any runs. Then I think that he can pitch 2 more innings. He could complete 6 innings with just 2 runs given up. That would be a huge victory, not just for him, but for the Astros. A huge victory. So it all boils down to, can the Astros actually hit the ball? Right now we have 1 hit and no runs on the board. Pretty crazy. Sergio says, Mark knows what I'm talking about. The rest of you should put Papacitos and Papado on your dining out bucket list. Yeah, these places I've heard of, but you know, I haven't lived in the U.S. for 12.5 years. Let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, almost 12.5 years. Getting close. Getting close. In about a month and a half or so. Maybe a month and a week. Month and a half. Yeah, about a month and a half. It will be exactly 12.5 years since I left the U.S. Spent almost 7 years in China. Only 1 month taking a break in Thailand at a health resort there. I could definitely use that now. Jake Myers is back at the plate. He's got himself a hit today. He's the only Astro with a hit. The first pitch to him is strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch on the way from Bybee. Big curveball, like a lollipop style. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's the kind of curveball that my brother used to throw. Here comes the 1-1. Low and inside, ball 2. Good take. It's funny because my brother's big curveball, I felt was always so easy to hit because he didn't have much speed on it. It had a big arch, but it was very predictable. Here comes the next pitch. Fouled off. A little high on that cutter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's the man that almost cost the Astros the game yesterday, Joe Espada. Yes, sir. I'm talking about you, sir. Just like Sergio said, just monkeying around too much. Playing around too much. 2-2 pitch on the way from Bybee. Myers hits that out into right field. Is that going to be playable? I think it's going to be foul, out of play. Yeah. Count remains 2-2. Sergio says, come on, Astros. You're saying what I'm feeling. Very close to taking over second place in the American League from the New York Stankies. Yes. Let's take it over from those dirty Stanks. Here's the pitch. Grounded to third. Is that going to be fair? They're going to say it's fair, and he beats it out. He's safe. Wow. I can't believe they called that fair. Wow. Second hit. Myers beating that out. Let's take a look at that. Very, very close. Man, what a tough play there. But Myers working hard to get to first base. Lead-off hit. Jake the Rake. Cam, crank it up. Cam Smith at the plate. Right down the third base side. They're going to get the double play. No, he's safe at first base. Man. What a great catch by Ramirez there. Cam rifled that first pitch. They're going to see if they want to challenge it. And they're not. They're going to say, keep it going. But look at this. 114 miles an hour off the bat. Now, that right there makes Dubon look really bad. The one that Dubon missed was nothing like that one. 1 out. Runner on first with Jacob Melton at the plate. Here's the first pitch. Melton should do well against this pitcher. He's a left-handed batter. He's a big guy. He's got power. There's no reason for him to be striking out against Tanner Bybee. Literally no reason. He should be hitting the ball. And we need a hit right now. Come on. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss again. Man, what is it with Melton right now? Just swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss, swing and miss. Strikeout machine. How can you be swinging and missing pitches from a right-hander in the 80s, right in the middle of the plate? Here comes the 1-1 pitch. He taps it to second. Could be a double play. No throw. Melton is fast. He does have that. So Cam Smith will be thrown out at second. Astros forcing their base runner out at second like crazy right now. 2 away. Mauricio Dubon comes up. You guys want to take bets whether Dubon swings at the first pitch or not? I'm going to say he does. I'm going to say he does. Here's the first pitch. He does. He fouls it off. I'm right. The only reason I said that is because not only does he do it most of the time, but his last at bat, I think that he did not swing. So I think that his chances of swinging went up. 0-1 is the count to Dubon with 2 outs. Melton on first. Come on, man. We need a big hit. Bybee throws over to first base, but Melton is back. Will Bite says the 40-man roster spot opened today after 4 years of basically nothing. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Dubon. Melton is off. He's going to try to steal. Here's the throw. He's in there, no problem. Hey, at least he's doing something. Melton is doing the one thing that he can do, and that's run. That's for sure. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mauricio Dubon. So we have a runner in scoring position. It's not going to take me too much to bring him in. He is a speedster. Dubon steps out, takes a timeout. One ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. A little outside. Good take. Ball 2. Sergio says, I want Paredes to be today's hero and stick it to this old team. Stick it to his old team. Hey, I don't care who the hero is, but if he can stick it to his old team, fine by me. 2-1 pitch to Dubon. He taps that one to the shortstop, who scoops it up, fires over, and can't beat that. That's it for the Astros. Dubon unable to beat out the throw. 4 up and 3 down. Actually, it was more than that. A little more than that. No, it was 4 up. That's right. Astros get a lead base runner. 2 hits for the Stros, both coming from Myers. Myers gets a hit, forced out at second. Next batter comes up, forced out at second. Melton steals the base. Ground out to first. It would have been a force out at second, too. The Astros just grounding the ball like crazy to the Guardians. What a game. Once again, we've got the low-scoring game through 5 or 6 innings. I'm so tired of these games. Can't stand the Astros not scoring in games like this. It's so unfun, right? It's unfun. Let's see here. 25 people following. I need 2 more likes on the live stream to get to 20. I'd appreciate you hooking me up with that if you haven't already. Whew, I want to get comfortable now that my coffee's ready. This coffee is not very good. It's not hot. It's the second version, Coffee 2.0. I guess you could say the used coffee grounds. Second cup of coffee with the same coffee grounds. Will Bites says the Astros need to sweep this Guardians team. Yes, they do. We really need the sweep, but they're not treating the game very seriously. Walter is back on the mound. The first pitch is a sinker right in there for strike 1 against Stephen Kwan. 0-1 is the pitch count, or rather the count. That one's in there too. 0-2. Nice start against Kwan. 1 ground out today and a single for Kwan. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Opposite field foul ball. Count remains 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouls this one down the first base side. Yeah, they said that this is a difficult guy to strike out simply because in the major leagues he has the highest contact count. Or, yeah, contact percentage, rather. Here comes the next pitch from Walter. Ground ball. Whitcomb backhands it. Fires it over to first. All right. 2 ground outs now to second base for Kwan. Fine by me. 1 up and 1 down. Next batter is Angel Martinez, who fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. 1 more like to 20, guys. I know one of you, I've got 25 people listening in right now. I know one of you at least can throw me a like and get me to 20. Next pitch is a swing and a miss. Nice. 81 mile per hour changeup, drops below the zone. Good movement on that one. 0-2. Martinez has grounded out and struck out today. Hey, I got the 20th like. Thank you very much, whoever just liked the live stream. I appreciate it. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Just a little high. Pretty close. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the toss. Slow ground ball to shortstop. DeBon makes the play. Out number 2. All right. 2 up, 2 down, 2 ground balls. Through 5 innings, the Astros have 2 hits, both coming from Mr. Baseball, Jake Myers. Here comes the toss. Woo, that was a strike. 88 in the bottom of the zone. A cutter called a ball. The umpire helping out Jose Ramirez, who's at the plate right now. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Just a little outside. 2 balls and no strikes with 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. DeBon grabs it, fires over to first. Out number 3. So 1, 2, 3 ground balls. 3 up and 3 down. A nice solid inning for Brandon Walter. How do you like that, guys? Through 5 innings, he's given up 2 runs. If not for that home run, this would be a shutout. If you think about it, if you compare that to Framber Valdez or Hunter Brown, actually his pitching performance is solid. He's given up 6 hits, but just 2 runs. Obviously his strikeouts are not high, but it's just that 1 home run. But still, 2 runs through 5 innings for this guy. He's already done what you hoped he would do, right? Top of the 6th coming up, the Astros still trying to get some runs on the board. Let's see if we can do it here in the 6th inning. Sergio says the Astros are definitely looking a bit flat today, but the score is only 2-0. That's true. It's a low score. We can do it, and the Astros love late inning heroics. Well, I don't know what it is about the Astros and their late inning play. If they were consistently good in the late innings, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I wouldn't even say that they're consistent at that. I would just say that it stands out. I feel like it stands out because they so consistently don't score runs early. So whenever they do score runs, it stands out. It makes it seem like they're a late game team. But I don't even think that they score enough runs in the late innings. All right. Shea Whitcomb is at the plate. Let's see if he can do something. He was getting the bat on the ball his last at bat. That first pitch is in the top of the zone. Could have been a ball. It was a little high. 86 mile an hour cutter. Strike 1. Here comes the next pitch. That's the first swing and miss by Whitcomb. 0-2, just like that. The cutter low and away. Batistore says, I just gave you 20 likes. Thanks for doing this. Hey, that's a sharp hit ball, but the shortstop grabs it up. Ground out for Whitcomb. 1 away. Go back to that comment right quick. Batistore says, thanks for doing this. We're driving across the country, and this is really nice to get us through Montana. That's great. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Sometimes people join in and they say they're driving somewhere, so welcome in. Jeremy Pena is at the plate. Here's the first pitch. Fouls that back. The 82-mile-an-hour changeup. Strike 1. Pena's 0 for 2 today. Next pitch from Bybee is on the way. Right in there. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Strike 2. Pena quickly down in the count, just like Shea Whitcomb before him. Come on, Pena. Hook us up. Here's the pitch. Quite a bit outside. Good take. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 away. Nobody on. Bybee up to 65 pitches with this next delivery, but Pena steps out of the box, takes a quick timeout. I was always the type of batter to stay in the box. I would never step out of the box. I would stay in there for a really long time, even if the pitcher wasn't moving. I wouldn't move. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That looked like old Pena right there, to go after that terrible pitch way outside and in the dirt. Shades of the past, my friend. Out 2. Don't revert, Pena. Don't revert. Isak the ball Paredes comes to the plate. 1 strikeout, 1 flyout for him today. Batting .251 for the season. Here's the pitch. Little high, ball 1, good take. Mark says, back from peanut butter time. Here comes a 1-0. That's in the top of the zone for strike 1. 1-0. I'm sorry, 1-1 is the count. What did I say? 1-0? What am I thinking here? Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That ball cutting to the outside. The cutter cutting like it's supposed to. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The Astros 1 strike away from having another scoreless inning. Does Paredes have anything to say about that? We will find out in just a moment. Here comes the 69th pitch from Bybee. Fouled off. We'll get to 70 at least this inning. Count remains 1-2. Sergio says, thank you. Welcome to the live chat. Yeah, Batistore. Safe travels in Montana. Absolutely. Have a safe drive. A safe, beautiful drive. I haven't been to Montana, but I'd like to go out there. I'm sure it's beautiful. Fouled at the plate. Count remains 1-2. They're playing For Whom the Bell Tolls again. I think they're a little late on that. It's been strike 2 for a while now. 22 likes on the live stream. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. A little high and inside. Ball 3. I think I need to update my pitch count there. There we go. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs on Isak the ball Paredes. 72nd pitch coming from Bybee right now. Fouled off again. Is that playable? No, it floats into the crowd. Big battle at the plate going on right now between 2 heifers. Bybee's kind of a hefty looking guy. He's not a small looking pitcher. The battle of the cattle right now. It's 3-2 with 2 outs. Here it comes. Right in there. Bybee is the bigger of the 2. He is the one who wins the battle. Paredes strolls back to the dugout. The Astros do nothing again in the top of the 6th. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 0-2. Goose egg. Whack, whack. Is that what a goose says? Do they say quack like a duck? They sound similar, right? I'm not sure exactly what the sound of a goose is supposed to be, but I would imagine it's very similar to a duck, right? Goose egg for the Stros, 2 runs for the Gardindians. Man, goodness gracious. Heavens to Betsy. Goodness gracious me. Goodness gracious alive. My 7-Eleven triple vitamin C drink is now gone. This is a no sugar vitamin drink. And now I can finish my very mediocre lukewarm coffee. I really would like to get a fresh cup of coffee. It's the bottom of the 6th. I might put some more hot water on. I think I'll do that. I'll be right back, guys. One ball, one strike. Brandon Walter is facing David Fry. The next pitch is on the way. Swinging a foul ball for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count. I missed the first 2 pitches because I was being selfish and heating myself up some hot water for a fresh cup of coffee. Caleb Ward is warming up in the bullpen for the Stros. The next pitch is on the way. 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. Strikeouts. 5 strikeouts for Walter now. That was the Swiffer. 80 miles an hour. He just swept Fry away. There was a fry on the floor and he swifted away. Here comes the first pitch to Carlos Santana, fouled down the third base line. Strike 1. How many pitches is that now for Mr. Walter? 88. The 89th is on the way right now. That one's a bouncer to Paredes. He grabs it, lobs it over to first. Easy peasy Japanesey. Yosh. あなたのところで、それとも私のところで。If you guys can figure out what I just said, good on you. It's one of the first phrases that I learned in Japanese. It's pretty funny. Actually, it just means your place or mine. I learned it as a joke, and it does work as a joke. It makes people laugh. Hey, look at this. It's hit into center field. That could be a 3 up and 3 down. Look at that. Walter with a super easy inning. How about that, guys? Brandon Walter walks off the field with 6 innings of work, giving up 2 runs just off that 2-run homer. How do you like that? A solid performance. What a disappointing game this would be for him if the Astros can't put any runs on the board. Don't let down your pitchers like this, your young pitchers. It's bad enough when Hunter Brown or Framber Valdez or your main starters come in and only give up 2 runs in 6 innings or 7 innings. But man, when you have a guy like Brandon Walter come in and give you such a solid performance and you can't even get 1 stinking run on the board, not 1 stinking run, what are you doing? Top of the 7th coming up. If the Astros can take the lead in this inning, I think that they should definitely bring Brandon Walter back out, at least for a little bit, so he can get this win. That's what they should do. That's my opinion. Sergio says 23 likes and counting. Yeah. Oh, it just hit 24. Nice. If the game gets close, it's already close, but if it gets closer to the 9th and it hasn't changed too much, or the game is tied, we'll probably get to 30. Probably have a lot more people coming in. Mark says, reminds me of the dome, the Bulls on the scoreboard. Bulls on the scoreboard makes me think of Chicago. Even though I was a Rockets fan, when Jordan was playing, I just could not stop watching the Bulls. They were something else to watch. They were really fun. That was back when basketball was fun. The Rockets started sinking threes and destroying everybody. Fun times back then. Christian Walker comes to the plate. He will lead it off for the Stros in the top of the 7th. Takes that first pitch right in the middle of the zone. 85-mile-an-hour cutter for strike 1. Fly out and a ground out. So Walker is putting the bat on the ball today. How about you put one out in left field over the fence? Inside the foul pole, please. Low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 7th inning Magic Astros. That's right. That's right, Astros Houston. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Little lone outside. Catcher tried to frame it, but the umpire called it correctly. Ball 2. Tanner Bybee up to 76 pitches. He hasn't been tested too much by the Stros today. There's a swing and a miss by Walker. Could have been ball 3. Swiffer below the zone. Come on, you can hit this guy. You can do it. You can do it. Here's the pitch. High and inside. Full count. Here comes a full count pitch to Walker. Let's do something good here. Popped high in the air to shortstop. He's backpedaling. Left fielder comes in and takes it. 1 away. Walker is retired. Well, look at the bright side. Walker has improved today. Grounds out, strikes out. No, not strikes out. He grounds out and flies out. No strikeouts. That's improvement. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. Had a big hit yesterday. If he can deliver something similar today, it would be nice. He'll go after the first pitch, I think. Here's a toss. Oh, he doesn't. Good. Low and outside. I just had a feeling that he was going to be aggressive. But it's good that he wasn't aggressive on that pitch. In the dirt. 80 pitches now for Bybee. Here comes the next pitch. Yainer goes after that one. It was right in the zone. That one's a good one to be swinging at, but he couldn't put it in play. The count is even, 1-1. Next pitch is on the way. Diaz hits to the right side. That's going to get through. Diaz with a hit. Finally. Somebody else gets a hit besides Myers. 3rd hit of the game for the Astros. We have a base runner with 1 out. Not a home run, but we need the extra guy on base. All right. And then speaking of Jake Myers, he comes to the plate. He's 2 for 2. Infield hit and a hit to right field. How about a 2-run homer, Mr. Myers? Chopped foul down the third baseline. Strike one. Come on, Jake the Rake. Caleb Wharton is no longer warming up in the bullpen. Now we have Fried Okert. Stephen Okert warming up. Here's the next pitch to Myers. Hey, another base hit to the right side. Diaz can go to third. Good hit by Myers. A nice soft liner into the opposite field. Runners on the corners. First time the Astros have put a guy on third this entire game. Myers is 3 for 3. He's just owning this pitcher. The one guy in the lineup that he just can't stop. Jake Myers. Out of everybody in the lineup, the guy he can't stop is Mr. Baseball himself, Jake Myers. Pitching coach comes out to have a little chit-chat with the infield and the pitcher. All right. Now we're cooking. Guardians finally pull somebody up in the bullpen. Best opportunity of the game so far for the Stros with Cam Smith at the plate. Cam Smith with a huge opportunity to be a hero right here. Get some runs on the board. Come on, man. A 3-run homer by Smith right here would be absolutely lovely. It'll be lovely. First pitch coming in just a moment from Baby. Here it comes. Swing and a miss on that Swiffer. Outside and low. Strike one. Cam Smith tries to crank it up. But nothing but oxygen. You're going to need some fire and fuel, my friend. You got to mix that together just right to get that hit. Here comes the next one. 0-1. Runner's going to second. He's going to get in there easy. Myers has a second stolen base in the game. He's easily able to get in there. The catcher came up like he was going to throw, but he dropped the ball. Good jump again by Myers. Naylor just couldn't hang on to the ball. 2 strikes. Runners on second and third. No double play available. Pitcher steps off the rubber for a moment. 0-2 is the count to Cam Smith. 1 out, guys, with 2 runners in scoring position. Come on. Crank it up, Cam. Come on. Here's the pitch. Woo! He takes one on that outside edge. That could have been strike 3. What a dangerous pitch. What a dangerous pitch to take. The crowd is booing. Look at that. It couldn't have been any closer without being a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the next toss. Come on, Cam. All right, there's a base hit to left center field. It might score 2 runs. It is. Diaz is in. Myers is coming around. He will score standing up. This game is tied. Cam Smith with a double. Cam Smith with his speed is able to book it all the way around to second base. The Astros tie it up. Cam Smith with a big hit. Left center field. He comes through. Look at that. Score them runs. All right. Cam Smith really excited. Sliding into second with a big fist pump. And that's going to be it. Some complaints there. Look at that. The pitcher complaining to the umpire on his way out of the game. All right. Pitching change incoming. Cam Smith knocks out the pitcher. Guardians can't see anymore. Can't see any more of that. 2-2. Finally, the Astros put the runs on the board. And we still have a runner in scoring position, a very fast guy with just 1 out. Jacob Melton is at the plate. Maybe it's his time to finally get a hit. But now that they have a pitching change, it's the perfect opportunity for me to just walk in the other room and get my hot water and pour myself a fresh cup of coffee. because you know what? I freaking deserve it. 33 people following along. Thanks so much for being here. I've only got 24 likes, though. Please like the live stream. Get me to 30, and I will love you long time. Be right back. Go Stros. All right, guys. Kate Smith is in for those Dirty Guardians. Jacob Melton takes a big swing at that first pitch and gets nothing but 0-2. Oh and 1 is the count. Cam Smith on second with 1 out. Another swing and a miss. Melton continues. Melton down. He continues Melton down. Jacob Melton at the plate. Come on, man. You're going to have to hit the ball if you want to play in the MLB. You got to put the bat on the ball. You can't be just striking it. Oh, gosh. I'm not even going to say it. Out number 2. I'm not even going to tell you what just happened because you can figure it out. 3 pitch. Let's just say there were 3 pitches and Melton is walking back to the dugout. They're re-showing that pitcher earlier that was not called a strike. But you know what? The same thing has happened to the Astros. So Dubon comes to the plate, swings after the very first pitch, a bobble, but he gets the play. Woo! He gets the out. That's going to be it for the Astros, but Cam Smith gets the double to tie it up. So at least the Astros make it a new ball game thanks to that timely hit, perfectly timed hit for Cam Smith, and with that steal by Jake, second steal of the game. Now Jake Myers has 3 hits and 2 steals. It is true that Cam Smith came through with the double, but right now, for me, Jake Myers is the player of the game so far. Player of the game. 3 hits, 2 steals. If he hadn't gotten that steal, we wouldn't have had that second run. We go to the bottom of the 7th, tied up 2-2. And now that I've got my nice hot boiled water, I am going to make a fresh cup of coffee. And I'll get to the live chat in just a moment, see what's going on there. But while we're on commercial break, I will quickly set up my coffee, because if I don't do it now, it's going to be really difficult to do the previews and the play-by-play while the game's going on. All right. The pour-over bags are so much easier, but making the coffee this way, it's much higher quality. The taste is so much better. It's just a little more effort. Just a little more effort, that's all. There we go. I think that's about right. Smells good. All right. Fresh cup o' coffee incoming. I really want to make myself some eggs. I've got some tortillas in there. I'm going to have some breakfast soft tacos, breakfast wraps, as soon as this game is over. I hate to eat and go back to sleep, but I might do that. Jonathan Rodriguez was due up here in just a moment. Is Steven Okert going to be pitching? We'll see. Probably is. Cam with a single scores 2. John said, I called it. Well, yeah, it was a double. But yeah, you're right, John. He did it. He scored 2. Single would have done it. Charles says, you can do it. Told you 6th, 7th. Sergio says, Quan Astros, Brandon Walter deserves some run support. Yes, he does, but unfortunately, he's going to get a no result today. Steven Okert is on the mound for the Stros, taking his final warm-up pitches. Where's my Okert picture? Fried Okert. Let's see what he serves up for the Gardindians. Cam and Walker. Don't forget Myers. Myers. What do you mean? Walker, did you mean Myers? Or Diaz? Oh, yeah. I forgot about the poll. The poll was kind of a joke. I can't believe you guys... well, when I say winning the strikeoff, in other words, who's striking out the most? It was definitely not Walker. Walker hasn't struck out today. Melton is winning handily so far. First pitch from Okert is low and inside, ball 1. He is facing Jonathan Rodriguez. 1-0 is the count. Oh, yeah, and I need to pour some more hot water in here. Get my coffee made. Here comes the next pitch from Okert. That's hit hard to left field. It'll be a single. Line drive bounces in front of the left fielder there. Who is out there? I keep forgetting who's out in left field. It's Melton that's out in left field. I guess that's why I keep forgetting. I don't want to think about Melton's at-bats. That's why. Melton with 2 strikeouts today. He seems to strike out at least twice in every game. If he stays in the game the whole time, he'll have 3 or 4 strikeouts. It's just kind of how he's batting right now. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Hope he can get it together, though. Bo Naylor is at the plate. 92 miles an hour. Inside, fouled off for strike 1. Runner on first base with no outs. My first cup of coffee. Fresh cup of coffee. Almost ready to go. Here comes the pitch. Nope. Okert makes a lazy throw to first base. Not a serious throw. I can actually add a little bit more water to this. I think that'll be right. About right there. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. High. Looks like they were expecting a steal on that play. A deliberate high pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 to Naylor. He hits this one up in the air. Might be trouble, and it is, and it bounces right in front of Melton, between Melton and Dubon. Naylor, of course, Bo Naylor is 3 for 3 today. 2 singles and a home run, a 2-run homer. Up until today, he was like 0 for 85. And he was batting 171 coming into this game. And of course, he's the one that is getting all the hits, and he has all the RBIs for the Guardians today. It makes sense, right? Runners on first and second with nobody out, so Okert's not cooking as well right now as he normally does. I'm not sure what he's serving up, but it's definitely not fried Okert. Fried Ort, maybe? Fried Ort. Fried ordered. Okert? Ordered? Will Wilson is at the plate. No outs, 2 runners on. Here's the first toss. Shows bunt, pulls back. to take ball 1. Sergio says, unlike Detroit and New York, I would like the Astros to sweep these Cleveland Pretenders. I always want to sweep, but yeah. Low and inside. I left the preview up on the screen way too long. I'm sure that's going to get a copyright note. I'm going to have to cut that out of my live stream. 2 balls and no strikes to Will Wilson. I'm going to try putting some creamer in this one, in this first cup of coffee. I want it to taste really nice. Here comes the 2-0 count to Wilson. He shows bunt again. That's in there. Why didn't he bunt? Right in the top of the zone. He shows bunt, pulls back, but it's a strike. 2-1, I'm sorry. 2 balls and 1 strike. No outs, runners on first and second. He shows bunt again. He gets the bunt down. Oker is going to go to first. Bad throw, and that's going to score runs. Bad throw from Okert. He throws it out into right, or to the right side of the field. 3-2, Guardians retake the lead off that terrible throw to first base by Oker. What in the world was he doing? An easy throw. He had plenty of time. He runs over and grabs the ball. He had plenty of time. He had time to take a nice throw, and he just throws it into the dugout, basically. I'll never understand how pitchers can do that. I guess it's because when they're pitching, they have so much time to set up and take their time, and when they're in a rush, they just lose their control. But it still blows my mind. You get paid to throw the ball, and you can't even throw it to first base. Ball 1 to Kwan. Ball 1 to Kwan. Still no outs. Runners on second and third. Here's the pitch. That's a foul ball. Is it going to be in play? No, it's going to be floating just over the net. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kwan. Strike Kwan. Oh, man. Astros bats don't need any help. Making it difficult for them. Okert. Runners on second and third with no outs. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Kwan. Fouled off. Strike 2. Astros looked like they were going to come back and have a chance to win this game, but even though they're just down by 1, I'm not so sure. They haven't looked good. Kwan hits this one to center field. It's probably going to score another run with a tag. Myers brings it in, but Naylor scores easily. He doesn't even have to slide. 4-2. The lead for the Guardians is restored. Astros runs that they picked up in the 7th are erased. 4-2. 8 hits, or 9 hits now for the Guardians. Caleb Ward is back up. He was originally the guy that they had warming up earlier, and then they swapped out for Okert. Angel Martinez comes to the plate with 1 out. Runner on second. First pitch is up and in for ball 1. Okert fakes a throw to second base. Wilson is back. 1-0 is the count. Why the heck do we keep bringing in Okert? I don't think he's a bad pitcher. He's not great, but he's not bad. That's in there for strike 1. 1-1. Astros just let him steal third base. Guess they don't care. Not even making a throw. That one's in there for strike 2. Will Wilson takes third without even drawing a throw from Diaz. I guess he didn't want to throw it out in left field and give him another run. Here comes a 1-2 pitch to Martinez. Fouled off on the right side. Count remains 1-2. 29 people following along. Thank you for being here. Disappointing inning so far. Still just one out. We need some more outs here. Swing and a miss. Right on time. Okert delivers me out number 2. Martinez goes down swinging. Strikeout for Okert. The sinker. 83-mile-an-hour sinker. Jose Ramirez gets an intentional walk. They're not going to pitch to him. They're going to pass him up and go straight to David Fry. Runners on the corners. Here comes the pitch. Fry fouls the first one up and away for strike 1. Oh, man. Goodness gracious, Stros, what are you doing? It takes you 7 innings to get runs on the board, and in the same inning, you give them right back. It couldn't be more redonkulous. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. That's right in there. 92-mile-an-hour fastball taken for strike 2. Speaking of redonkulous, how do you take a pitch right down the middle? Maybe this is why they wanted to pitch to David Fry. Here comes the next pitch. Strike 3. Good decision. It turns out to be for the Astros to walk Ramirez and go straight to Fry. Strikes him out for out number 3, but not before giving up 2 runs. So Okert does ultimately serve up some fried Okert, but not before giving up 2 more runs. Astros have a little more work to do with the bats. We've got 2 more innings to mount another comeback. Top of the 8th coming up. Shea Whitcomb leading off the batting for the Astros, followed by Jeremy Pena and Isaac Paredes. So we've got the top of the batting order coming up. And Shea Whitcomb has been getting the bat on the ball, so the Astros have some ability to get this done. And Cade Smith was the pitcher. I'm not sure if he's still in the game, but I will update that. I forgot to put his name on the screen. Cade Smith. If he's still in the game, I will let you know. But if not, I will make the update and let you know as well. Sergio says the Astros are finally grasping the idea of walking Ramirez in critical situations. Yeah, might as well. Go to the guy that is easier to pitch to. Sergio says Okert is a poor reliever in comparison to our other options. Yeah, it's true, but it's not just about the other options. It's about rest time and who's really available, who's comfortable. There's a lot of stuff going on that we don't necessarily know just sitting here watching it. Now, of course, there's also a lot of stuff that they're saying that I'm hearing that you guys aren't saying. I can't share everything, but Whitcomb takes that first pitch in there. Ball 1. Line out and a ground out for Whitcomb today. Getting the barrel on the ball. Let's see if he can get a hit here. Swings at that one, misses. 97 above the zone. Cade Smith is still in the game, by the way, pitching for the Guardians. 6 pitches for him. 1 ball, 1 strike. Whitcomb takes a timeout. I agree with that. That's a good timeout right there. Step out of the box because Cade Smith is moving pretty quickly. Slow it down a little. Get relaxed. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. 85 miles an hour on the Swiffer. High Swiffer. You don't see that very often. Must not have had much movement on it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Whitcomb misses it. 98-mile-per-hour fastball. He just buzzes it by him. 2 strikeouts for Smith since he's been in the game. 1 away. Top of the lineup is now at the plate with Jeremy Pena. Takarias Arandas is presenting a bobblehead night. A Hawaiian Pena bobblehead. That's funny. Outside. Ball 1. Hitting streak on the line for Pena today. Fouls this one off. 1-1 on that fastball. 97 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Top of the 8th. Astros down by 2. 4-2. Here's the pitch from Smith. Pena holds up, but that's a strike right in there. 98 miles an hour. He probably held up because he started his swing too late. Wasn't expecting a 98-mile-an-hour heater. But you should be. This guy pitches pretty fast. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the toss. Foul tip into the glove of the catcher, and that's another strikeout for Pena. Pena really looking bad today as he strolls back to the dugout. Out number 2. It's looking like the Astros are not going to get back in this game today. So far, the Guardians reliever looking solid. Isaac Paredes comes to the plate. Just a little high and outside, 98 miles an hour. Didn't miss by much. Ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Another one just barely outside. Ball 2. A couple of good takes by Paredes. Those are about 2 inches out of the zone. 2-0 is the count with 2 outs. That one's in the outer corner, or rather outer edge for strike 1. 3 straight 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the toss. A little high. There's another one. 98, a couple inches high. 4 straight similar pitches, just different locations. Caleb Ort hanging out in the bullpen for the Astros right now. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. This one's hit high and back out of play for strike 2. Full count. The Astros commentator said 2-2, but it's not. It's 3-2. Paredes calls timeout. Crowd looking a little bit better. Early on, it was practically empty in the stadium, but this crowd is really quiet. Really, really quiet. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Hey, this might be a dropped in for a... No! I thought that would be a little drop in for a single, but it stayed in the air too long. The second baseman was able to float out there and grab it, so Caleb Ort is now strolling to the mound. The Astros do nothing in the 8th. I'm making a prediction right now that the Astros will do nothing the rest of this game. It's not because I don't have faith. I just feel that right now the Guardians' pitching is solid. They don't even need to change. They just keep Cade Smith in there. He's throwing that 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and his command is crazy. He's putting it exactly where he wants it, and the Astros can't get around on it. And when they do get around on it, it's not a good result. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 4-2. 8 hits for the Guardians. 5 hits for the Astros. 1 error for the Astros. Sergio says we avoided the shutout, which is great. However, we can still take this one. We can, but I think the relievers that the Guardians have are better than the starter. So if they're not hitting the starter, how can they hit the reliever? BitDog says, "Come on, Stros, let's go." Yes, I would like for them to go, get some runs. But we'll see. Anything is possible. Daniel says, "Hi everyone, happy Sunday." And happy Monday from Japan. When I went out to get my hot water for my fresh cup of coffee about 10 or 15 minutes ago, the sun was coming up. It's 4:45 in the morning here in the Hiroshima countryside. 23 people following along and 27 likes. Almost to 30. Just need 3 more to get to 30 likes. Might be able to do that. Caleb Ort is now in the game for the Stros. Just finished up his warm-up tosses. He's checking the pitch comm right now. First pitch is going to come to Carlos Santana in just a moment. And it's on the way. A little inside, a fastball, missing the mark by a few minutes. Missing the mark by a few inches. A few minutes. Yeah, I need to go back to sleep. 1-0. Here's the pitch from Ort. Down the first base line. Foul it goes. Strike 1. 1-1 on you, Mr. Santana. Ort, one of the Astros' right-handed pitchers, facing the lefty Santana, takes that one high. Up out of the zone. Ball 2. 2-1. They're showing Pena sitting in the dugout. Pena looking like a non-all-star today, that's for sure. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, practically. 3 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff batter. Come on, Ort. If Ort has a rough inning, it's going to make the Astros relief staff have a lot of pressure with Okert and Ort. And there we go. Ground ball to the right side, easily played. Ort runs over and steps on the bag. Good play by Walker and Ort. The Walker-Ort, Walk-Ort combo. 1 away. What a poll. They're talking about what's your favorite character from the movie Major League. I would have voted for Willie Mays Hayes. He was hilarious. Where he comes out running with his pajamas on. That was a really funny movie. I should watch that again. The only thing good about the Cleveland baseball team is that movie. That pitch is way inside for ball 2. Gabriel Arias. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Lifted out into center field. Myers is back all the way to the wall. It's off the wall. He's going to have to pick it up, and that's going to be a double for Arias. Yeah, Myers was full steam ahead trying to get out there to that ball and had to slow down at the last moment when he realized he was about to run into the wall. Off the wall in center field. That was a hard hit ball right there. I didn't realize it was hit that hard. I thought it was kind of a soft line drive, but it went off the wall. New batter. Nolan Jones is at the plate, takes that first pitch off the plate. Ball 1. 96-mile-per-hour toss. Jones batting for Rodriguez. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Fouls it off for strike one. The count is even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on second. Astros down by 2. We have one more opportunity in the 9th. Let's see if Ort can just keep the lead where it's at right now. Keep the deficit where it's at. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Jones. Oh, check swing, did he go? They say he did. That's a strike. Cameraman is always too slow whenever they go to third to check. Did he swing? By the time they get there, it's almost always too late. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jones. I don't even know why they checked because that ball was in the top of the zone. I think it was a strike anyway. But whatever. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the toss. That's a soft into left. Melton, man, he slowed up there for a second and then had to hurry back in to get it. He started to stop, and then he realized it was coming in short. And then he quickly sped up and made a diving catch. But I think he made that one a lot worse, a lot harder than it should have been. It's like he started to come in, stopped, hesitated, and then ran in, but he was able to make the play, so line out for out number 2. And that brings up Bo Naylor. Naylor has a perfect game so far with a couple of singles and a 2-run homer. Fouls that one off. Yeah, it looks like a great play by Melton, but his hesitation before that made that play much more difficult than it should have been. No balls, 1 strike with 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Naylor. Right in the bottom of the zone. Just below the zone, I guess. Ball 1, 1-1. Be nice to retire Naylor at least once today. Make him 3 for 4. Here's the toss. There we go. There's a strike. 90 in the bottom of the zone. Clearly in the zone that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Runner on second. Ort trying to get out of the inning here. Here's the pitch. He rips that one foul. Naylor trying to go 4 for 4. But not with that one. Hey, Tacos Arandas. Taki Arandas. One of these days I'll visit there. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the toss. Left field. Hey, they retire him. Left field fly ball. Ort gets through the inning. All right. No damage done. Ort does what we were hoping Ogert was going to do his last outing. But 'tis what it is. 'Tis what it is. Top of the 8th coming up. Astros' last chance to tie or take the lead here. 4-2. That's the deficit. 9 hits for the Gardindians. 5 hits for the Stros. Five hits for the Astros today. 3 of those belong to Jake Myers. How about that? 3 of 5 hits. Jake Myers. Jeremy Pena, 0 hits, 3 strikeouts. Paredes, 0 hits, 2 strikeouts. Christian Walker, 0 hits. Our top 3 batters have no hits and 5 strikeouts today. Jake Myers has no strikeouts, and he's 3 for 3 with 3 hits and a run scored. How do you like them apples? It's a little bitter, if you ask me. A little bitter. It's a little bit bitter. Let's take a look at the live stream right quick before we get back to the top of the ninth. Sergio says our boys have been nonchalant at the plate. We shouldn't be satisfied with just taking the series. We can sweep them, pat our lead over the Mariners. I agree. From your mouth to God's ears, says Bit Dog. That's right. Excuse me. But you know what? It's not just the Astros. It's the coaching. Look at the lineup today. This is a give-up lineup. I mean, look at the lineup. Really think about it, guys. We've got Melton, DeBon, Whitcomb in the bottom of the lineup. Pena is DHing. He's not even in the field. Because of that, there's an error on DeBon at shortstop. I just feel like since the beginning, my feeling at the beginning was that the lineup was even give up lineup. Walker is at the plate. This is the Astros' opportunity to prove me wrong. Line drive, first pitch, out number 1. Very first pitch he goes after. He's standing on first base like, did you really catch that? Yeah, I mean, you hit it right to him. What do you expect? Go sit down. You're done for the day, mister. But good job, Walker. You didn't strike out today. You know, I can't be upset with you for that, but still, you should be hitting the ball. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. He does have a single today, but nothing compared to what he did yesterday with that 2-run shot. New pitcher, by the way, for the Guardians. That could have been a strike low and away, but ball 1, 87-mile-per-hour slider. Emmanuel Class. Hey. While I'm trying to type his name, Emmanuel Clase. Diaz gets a swing and a hit. Left center field. So the tying run comes to the plate with Jake Myers, who's 3 for 3 today. The Astros' number 1 hitter today. Here's the pitch. 100 miles an hour inside, ball 1. Man, if Jake Myers goes 4 for 4 and ties up this game, how amazing would that be? What a game. What a hero he'd be. Is that a hit? Yes, he's 4 for 4. He doesn't have the homer, but he gets the single up the middle. Jake Myers is 4 for 4 today. Mr. Baseball on base with another single. Excuse me. 2 runners on with 1 out. The winning run comes to the plate. Cam Smith came through with a big hit earlier, a double that tied the game. Could he do it again? Could he repeat? Here's the first pitch from Clace. Down, ball 1. One and 0 pitch from Clace. Another one in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. Hey. We have a little bit of deja vu right now, right? 2 runners on with Cam Smith at the plate, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. 2 balls and 1 strike. 100 miles an hour on that slider. Understandably exhausted after balling out the last 2 games, especially after the rain delay. Could be a little bit of jet lag, right? This is hit hard into center field. Might be enough to get the runners to move over from second to third, or a runner. Yeah, there's a tag. So we have runners on the corners with 2 outs. 2 outs. Cam Smith hit it really hard directly to center field, but the outs are 1 out away. The Astros are 1 out away. And it's down to Jacob Melton, the one guy that hasn't been putting the bat on the ball. Well, he's not the only one, but he has been striking out like crazy. He's got 2 strikeouts today. He's 0 for 3. All can be forgiven right now, Mr. Melton. With a big hit, all can be forgiven. 100, up and out of the zone. Ball 1. Jacob Melton. All can be forgiven. With a big hit right here. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. High and outside again, 99 miles an hour. 2 non-competitive fastballs. Next pitch from Clace, the 2-0, on the way. Swinging a tapper down the first, and it's going to be it. Of course, he taps out to the first. He's like, you know what? I'm out of here. Tap out, tap out. That's it. The Astros lose 4-2. A little effort, but not much. Ultimately tapping out. A very appropriate way to end this game as Melton goes down with the tap out. Thank you guys for joining. 34 people ending the live chat or the live stream. I need 2 more likes. If you have a moment to like the live stream, I'd appreciate that. To get me to 30, I would very much appreciate it. I'm going to give you a quick recap of the scoring summary and then a preview of the next game, and then we'll be out of here. Astros lose 4-2. Here's the scoring summary. I think I can share it on the screen with you guys. There we go. Okert is going to get the loss today, and I guess he deserves it because he gave up the runs that cost the Astros the game. The primary runs that cost the Astros the game. I'm glad that the loss didn't go to Walter. Brandon Walter had a really good game today. He pitched multiple innings of good baseball and only gave up 2 runs on that 2-run homer. Other than that, what a great game by Brandon Walter. Unfortunately, the Astros bats don't back him up. In the bottom of the 2nd, Naylor homered 2-0. In the top of the 7th, the Astros finally got some runs on the board with a double by Cam Smith, tying it up 2-2. But they immediately gave the runs right back. Okert gave up a run on a sacrifice bunt. He made a throwing error to first base, scoring a run 3-2, and then right after that, Quan hit a sacrifice fly, scoring another run 4-2, and that's where the game would end up, 4-2 Guard Indians. The Astros do win the series, but they failed to get the sweep. The offense just was anemic today. It was not there. Is kind of, I hate to say as usual, but it's kind of a common thing that the Astros just don't do as much on offense as they should. You can see right here they end up with 7 hits. There was 1 error by Dubon. Only 7 hits and 2 runs. No big things going on today. But just so you know, these 7 hits, 4 of those were Jake Myers. Jake Myers went 4 for 4 today. He was a beast. Doing his job. If the top of the batting order had been doing what Myers was doing, even half of what he was doing, the Astros would have had about 15 hits, maybe 14 hits, and would probably have 5 or 6 runs on the board. But disappointing is putting it lightly, this game. A game to forget. Let's take a look at tomorrow's game. Or do they have a day off? They might have a day off tomorrow. Let's check. Let's go and check. Yep, they have a day off tomorrow. There's no game tomorrow, guys, but 2 days from now, we will be playing back at home against the Chicago White Sox, a 3-game series. As of right now, Lance McCullers is slated to pitch against Shane Smith. And the Astros, you can see on the game predictor here, the Astros have about a 60% chance of winning that game, according to the ESPN matchup predictor. That game will be around 9 o'clock, 9:10 a.m. my time. So I will be here for that game. I will definitely see you guys at that time. You said they made it interesting in the night. Not interesting enough. But I understand what you're saying. Hey, DeLion. Myers back to 300. Yeah, man, he had an amazing day, didn't he? 2 thumbs up to Brandon Walter. Absolutely, I agree. Walter, good job today. Jake Myers, good job today. Those are my players of the game. Jake Myers on offense and Brandon Walter on defense. What great performances by those 2 guys today. But the rest of the team just basically let them down. Let them down. Sergio says, thanks, Brandon. Enjoy the rest of y'all's evening, Astros family. Same to you, Sergio. Same to everyone else. Thank you for being here. Disappointing loss, but the Astros do win the series. Back to Houston. We've got the day off tomorrow. Enjoy yourselves. Relax. And let's come back in 2 days for the White Sox series. That's pretty much all for today. I'm going to get off of here. And I might go back to sleep and get myself a little rest. It's about 5 a.m. in the morning, and there's nothing for me to do for the rest of the morning, so I think I can get another few hours of sleep. We got to 30 likes on the channel. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Love you all. Thanks for being here once again, and the only thing left to say, as usual, is Go Stros. See you in 2 days.